In 15th century Korea, a princess defied royal duty for love and paid the price. A woman who had everything except the one thing she truly wanted, the freedom to be herself. Today, we delve into a tragic love story, one overshadowed by a real-life Game of Thrones, stained with swords and blood. This is the story of Princess Jeongnyeong, the daughter of King Taejong. She tried to protect her one true love in an era defined by her powerless father and her ruthless uncle, the true ruler of the kingdom. Our story begins in the royal palace of Joseon in the early 1400s. Like all women of the royal court, Princess Jeongnyeong lived a life of strict rules and suffocating expectations. But in her heart, she secretly nurtured a budding romance. The object of her affection was a young, low-ranking military officer, a man whose name is barely even recorded in history, Jungmo. The records simply state that they were fond of each other, Sangyol. But could it have been just a simple crush? In the rigid hierarchy of Joseon, this was more than forbidden. It was unthinkable. For a royal princess to love a low-ranking officer was an act that could not only lead to his certain death, but also bring disgrace and political danger to her entire family. This wasn't just a romance, it was a gamble with their lives. To the princess, Jung was likely her only window to the world outside the palace. And to Jung, the princess was an unattainable dream. But their tender love was destined to be crushed by the great, unyielding gears of the era. Because the true master of Joseon at the time wasn't her father, King Taejong, but her uncle, Taejong, also known as Lee Bang-won. For Taejong, a king who had seized the throne through two bloody princely strifes, royal marriages were nothing but a crucial political tool. His niece's puppy love was not even a footnote in his grand design. It all began when his father, the first king of Joseon, broke tradition and named his youngest son as the heir. He overlooked the powerful, battle-hardened princes like Lee Bang-won, who had literally built the kingdom with their own hands. Feeling betrayed, Lee Bang-won launched a swift and brutal coup. In a single night, he assassinated his two young half-brothers and Jang Do-jeon, the brilliant founding architect of the entire Joseon dynasty, who had orchestrated the plan. He didn't take the throne himself. Not yet. Instead, he installed his pliable older brother as a puppet king, choosing to wield power from the shadows. But his ambition didn't stop there. When another one of his own brothers challenged him for power, he crushed the rebellion without hesitation and exiled him. Through these two conflicts, this princely strifes, Lee Bang-won learned a brutal lesson that he would carry for the rest of his life. Power is not given, it is taken. And to keep it, one must be willing to sacrifice anything and anyone. In 1403, to solidify his power base, Taejong commanded Princess Jeongnyeong to marry Yoon Sarol, a man from a powerful noble family. He did this knowing full well that the princess was in love with another. This was no simple marriage. It was a chilling political calculation by Lee Bang-won to bind his powerless brother's faction to his side while securing the loyalty of an influential clan. According to records, Princess Jeongnyeong vehemently refused this marriage, but who would take her side? Her father, Jeongjong, was the very same puppet king his brother had placed on the throne. Now retired, he was utterly powerless. He must have wanted to protect his daughter's happiness, but faced with his brother's terrifying authority, the same authority that had made and unmade him, he could only remain silent. Her uncle Taejong was ruthless. A niece's tears were no obstacle to the strengthening of his own royal authority. So what happened to Jeong, the man the princess loved? The very fact that his name is only recorded as Jeongmo, meaning a certain person of the Jeong clan, is evidence of how desperately the royal family tried to cover up this incident. The crime of having an affair with a king's daughter was high treason, but a public punishment would have brought shame upon the royal family. Therefore, historians speculate that he was eliminated, secretly, without an official trial. Perhaps he was exiled to a faraway land, or maybe he vanished on his own. But the most likely scenario is that his very existence was evaporated from history. Her lover gone, forced into a marriage she never wanted, what became of Princess Jeongnyeong's life? One of the most chilling historical accounts of the Joseon era, the Yeolyo Silgisul, records her end. Was it hwabyong, a Korean cultural illness born from suppressed anger, or simply a sickness of the heart? She died at a young age, not long after her marriage. There are no records of her having any children. Here, the official record ends. But among the common people, she came to be known as the Princess of Parting, and her sorrow was passed down through stories. One unofficial history, a yesa, claims that she never spoke a single word to her husband, Yun Saro, and that every New Year's Day, she would write a letter to her beloved Jeong, only to burn it in longing. Even the location of her tomb remains unknown. Born a princess who seemed to have everything, she was a woman who couldn't even protect her own heart. Her story asks us a fundamental question. Is power truly more important than a person's life and love? Behind the bloody battles for the throne, there lay the hidden tears of countless people like her who lived and died nameless. Later, in this tragic story of love that transcended social status, people saw the archetype for Cheonyeongjun, one of the most beloved classic tales in all of Korean literature. Though history may have faded her name, her sorrowful love became the seed for a truly great story.